You know, I'm not a racing enthusiast. I'm not a car enthusiast. I'm not anything like that. But man, I really like watching racing movies. Don't really know what it is about them. They always catch my attention. So let's talk about this racing movie. Ford versus Ferrari. Ford vs. Ferrari is directed by James Mangold, and it stars Matt Damon and Christian Bale in this racing movie. Basically, Ford is trying to compete in these big races, particularly the 1966 Le Mans, or 24 Hours at Le Mans is what they call it. And they have to compete against a Ferrari, who is used to building the fastest cars in the world at the time. So basically this movie follows Carroll Shelby, played by Matt Damon. He's trying to build this car, or he's trying to help Ford build this car that Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale, can race at the 1966 24 Hours at Le Mans with their goal to beat Ferrari, hence the name Ford versus Ferrari. So let's talk about Ford versus Ferrari. Now, as I've said before, I'm not a racing enthusiast. I'm not a car enthusiast. I know little to nothing about both of those subjects. I don't really know a lot about cars or racing in general. But nonetheless, I was still excited for this movie because I love Matt Damon, I like Christian Bale as an actor, and I love James Mangold as a director. I think he's super underrated, super overlooked. He did things like 3:10 to Yuma, Walk the Line, The Wolverine, which I think is an underrated superhero film, and of course, the best X-Men film and one of the best superhero films of the decade, Logan. I mean, Logan. How can you not look forward to seeing movies from this guy? But yeah, so I had high expectations. I love the trailers to this movie, and I'm just going to be 100% genuine with you guys right now. This movie is one of the best movies of 2019. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that it can compete with movies like Avengers Endgame and How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. It can compete with those movies. It is one of the best movies of 2019. And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, the acting is awesome. Matt Damon absolutely kills it in this movie. He's always been one of my favorite actors. And he's awesome in this movie. He's also really funny as well. He's a really funny actor. A lot of people don't look at him as like a huge comedic actor, but he's really funny in a lot of his movies. I mean, watch The Martian, you'll completely understand what I'm saying. But yeah, he's really funny in this movie as too. And some of his one-liners, some of his dialogue is fantastic. And the supporting cast is great as well. But the standout of this movie is easily Christian Bale as Ken Miles. He should be a shoo-in for an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. And by the way, I do think he's lead, even though Matt Damon's market is kind of the lead actor. I think Christian Bale's a lead actor as well, because the movie's just as much about Christian Bale's character as it is about Matt Damon's character. So, yeah, I feel like he should be a lead actor, and he should get nominated for Best Lead Actor of the Year, for sure. He's definitely up there. He was the standout in this movie for sure. He absolutely steals every single scene that he's in. And again, just like Matt Damon, he's funny. And Christian Bale's the type of guy that commits to his roles. He's the type of actor that puts his body through hell for certain roles. He was Dick Cheney. Was it Dick Cheney last year? I always get him and Gary Oldman, but yeah, it was Dick Cheney last year. And he's also Batman. He's also super skinny for a role. You could see his bones. This movie, he doesn't really put his body through anything, but he's still committed, and you can tell. And he was also really funny as well, especially with his banter between him and Matt Damon. And another thing I liked about this movie is this movie isn't really about the racing, although there are some great racing sequences in it, which I'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, this movie is just about Matt Damon and Christian Bale. They're battling the corporate machine to just build the fastest car they can. That's what this whole movie's about. And yes, this movie is 152 minutes long, just like Dr. Sleep. However, This movie didn't feel like 152 minutes. It felt like maybe an hour and 40 to an hour and 50 minutes. Like, not even joking. It felt about 40 to 45 minutes shorter than it actually was. So yeah, best film editing, give it a nomination, Oscars. I definitely expect that for this. And of course, a lot of people have been saying this, and I can 100% agree with them. The sound design of this movie. Just give this movie both of those Oscars now. Best sound editing, best sound mixing. Just give them both to Ford versus Ferrari now, because this has hands down the best sound design of the year. Like, you just go into this movie, especially if you want the full experience, you have, like, I hope this movie would get an IMAX release, or at least like a Dolby surround sound, just so you can hear the sound. Like, it's so amazing. Just the detail that the filmmakers put into the sound with this movie is absolutely amazing. It's worth the price of admission for that. And of course, it's worth the price of admission just for the final act of this movie. That final racing sequence. And even the racing sequences before that. But the final racing sequence in particular is worth the price of admission alone. It's awesome. It's absolutely breathtaking. You'll be at the edge of your seat, biting your nails, maybe holding on to the armrest in your theater. Like, it's that great. It's absolutely amazing. And the ending to this film as well, also really amazing. There's just so much going on to this movie. You never feel bored for a second. At least I didn't. I never felt bored for a second of this movie. I was locked into the screen the whole time. And when I got out of this movie, I actually went and saw it again the same day, that night, with a couple of other friends. They were like, hey, you want to go see Ford vs. Ferrari? I'm like, sure, why not? And I saw it a second time that night. It's that good. Like, I'm dead serious. It's that good. There's just so much going on in this movie. James Mangold handled this movie very well. Best Director nomination? Maybe. Hopefully one day. Maybe. He's such an underrated director. Just give him something. And even the sequences through the middle of the movie where I could see some people maybe getting bored. Not me. I definitely wasn't. Not to mention this movie, I mentioned it earlier, but it's hilarious. Even like outside of Matt Damon and Christian Bale, this movie's absolutely hilarious. I was dying laughing so many times. There's just so much good things about this movie. Like, it's a movie that's worth the price of admission just to like talk about it, really. It's easily one of the best movies of the year. Honestly, guys, I really can't think of any flaws I have with this movie. I mean, the runtime I can see causing problems for some, but again, it didn't cause any problems for me, so that's really all I have. I don't have anything else. So yeah, I loved Ford versus Ferrari. It's so damn entertaining. It's so great. It's a non-stop thrill ride from start to finish. I definitely want to see this movie get some Oscar consideration for its cinematography, the editing, especially the sound editing and mixing. Christian Bale for Best Actor, James Mangold for Best Director, Best Picture. Give it all the awards. Just give it all the nominations. I want to see this movie get some serious love at the Oscars. It's going to be in my top 5 of 2019 for sure. Like, at worst, top 10. It might even finish in my top 3. I don't know, but it's definitely one of the best movies of 2019. So with that all being said, I'm going to give Ford vs. Ferrari. I believe this is the 3rd time I've given this score this year. I believe it's only the 3rd time, but I'm going to do it. Ford vs. Ferrari gets a 100% certified fresh rating. That is an A+. So yeah, there's my review of Ford vs. Ferrari. Once again, I believe that's my third. I believe that's the 3rd 100 I've given this year. The other two being these two movies right here, Dragon Hidden World and Avengers Endgame. But yeah, this is only my 3rd one of the year. So have you guys seen Ford vs. Ferrari? What did you think about it? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. And what's your favorite racing movie? Personally, It's either this one or Rush. I mean, I don't really know which one's the better film. I haven't seen Rush in forever, though. So, yeah, it might be this movie for me. I really don't know. But this one's definitely up there. Rush is up there as well. But yeah, what's your favorite racing movie? Make sure to leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the future. And until my next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember, stay California cool. Peace.